I'm going to be taking you through a different style video. So instead of just presenting just the normal presentation I normally do, today I want to take you through a well-researched material that I've been putting together. This is mind-blowing. Now, it is a slide deck. Bear with it because you'll be amazed the information that's out there that I've managed to put together to take you through. It's all science-backed. It's all peer-reviewed. It's not my opinions. These are scientific facts. And the good thing is, if you listen to it, it might be just what you need to help you take that step. If you're over 50 and you think your body's decline is inevitable, stop what you're doing right now. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you two features, two paths, both real, both happening to men exactly like you right now in the UK and across the world. One path ends in frailty, dependency, slow fade. The other ends with you at 70 feeling stronger, sharper, more alive than you did at 40. The question isn't whether you are on one path or another already. You are. The question is, which one? Here's what nobody is telling you directly. 67% of men under 65 say their number one fear about aging is their physical health declining. Look at that number. 2/3 of men walking around right now are quietly terrified about what's happening to their bodies. And yet, 69% of men over 50 in the UK are overweight or obese. That means most men over 50 are already on the wrong path, and most of them don't even know it yet. This isn't about vanity. This isn't about six-pack abs. This is about whether you are going to be a burden or an asset to your family in the next 10 years. Let me show you exactly what both features look like. Let me paint path one for you. This is the path most men unconsciously choose by doing nothing, by default, effectively. There are 5 consequences, every single one of them preventable, and every single one is backed by peer-reviewed data. Not my opinion, not my views, peer-reviewed data. Consequence 1, your body. Without resistance training, men lose between 3 and 5% of their muscle mass every decade. After 60, that accelerates to 1% every year. Look at the chart on the right. By age 80, an inactive man has lost nearly 30% of the muscle mass he had in his peak. That's not just weakness. That's the beginning of frailty. Falls, broken hips, loss of independence. In the UK, 1 in 3 men over 65 falls at least once a year. 1 in 2 when they are over 80. That's the end of active life you worked your whole career to enjoy. And here's what nobody tells you. This process is accelerating if you are 50 and inactive. Every year you wait costs you another 1% on average. Consequence 2, your heart. A sedentary lifestyle increases your risk of heart disease by 19%. That's not a small number. That's nearly 1 in 5 extra cases directly caused by inactivity. The British Heart Foundation reports that 1.5 million men in the UK are already living in coronary heart disease and cardiovascular disease. This is the single biggest cause of early death in UK men. Not cancer, no accidents, heart disease. Here is something that often gets missed. 71% of men who develop sexual heart problems also have cardiovascular disease or diabetes. These things are connected. When your heart suffers, everything suffers. Consequence 3, your metabolism. If you are carrying excess weight and doing nothing about it, you are 5 times more likely to develop a type 2 diabetes than someone at a healthy weight. 5 times. I know this one personally. I was that statistic. I was a type 2 diabetic at 62. And once diabetes takes hold, your energy crashes, your vision deteriorates, your kidneys come under a lot of pressures, and your risk of heart attack doubles. The NHS reports that 69.7% of men over 50 in the UK are already overweight or obese. Think about that. And here is, and 1 in 3 British adults is projected to have metabolic syndrome. Well, what is metabolic syndrome? That's not one disease. That's a cluster of conditions all hitting at once. High blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess abdominal fat, abdominal cholesterol, all at the same time. It's crazy. It all hits at the same time. Consequence 4, and this one doesn't get talked about nearly enough. 50% of men have experienced poor mental health. Half, 1 in 5 middle-aged men in the UK is affected by loneliness right now. Physical inactivity is directly linked to depression, anxiety, and loneliness. When your body stops moving, your social world contracts too. Your confidence goes. Your sense of purpose fades. And here is a number that should shake every man watching this. The UK suicide rate for men aged 45 to 49 is 25.5, call it 26, men per 100,000. That's the highest of any age group in the country. 66% of men 55 and over feel stigma around discussing their mental health. So they suffer in silence. Sitting still doesn't just shrink your muscles, it shrinks your world. Consequence 5, and this one hits differently. Physical inactivity costs the UK economy 20 billion every year. But here is a number that should hit you personally. Inactive individuals cost the NHS between 900 to 1,800 more than a person who is active. That means if you are inactive, you are costing the nation between 900 and 1,800 more than if you are active. That's money coming out of the system. You're costing us all money. And ultimately coming out of your quality of care. Now, this is not a guilt trip, it is the truth. And inactive UK adults face a projected 4.1 million lifetime burden of chronic illness. 4.1 million pounds. In other words, for somebody who is unhealthy due to inactivity, they will cost the nation 4.5 million pounds over their lifetime. That's medical bills, care costs, lost productivity, and lost independence. So here's the brutal truth about path 1. It doesn't just cost you health, it costs you money, it costs the nation money, it costs you freedom, and ultimately it costs you dignity. So let me bring path 1 together. Here's what the data says when we lay it all out. A sedentary, inactive lifestyle increases your risk of heart disease by 19%, type 2 by 17%, cancer by 26%, depression and anxiety. And the research now says exercise is as effective as medication. So the inverse of not exercising is profound. And premature death by 30 to 40% higher risk. These aren't scare statistics, they are preventable outcomes. Every single one of these consequences has a direct science-based alternative on path 2, and you can start choosing that alternative today. Hello, it's Bori. I'm just checking that you're still listening to the presentation. If you've made this far, congratulations, because this material is gold mine. I know It's a slide deck, but it's so important that people get the facts. Because very often there's quite a lot of information on the internet. But these are well researched, well backed, and all the sources are in the material. So stay with it until the end. See you at the end. Well, but it's not what I need you to understand, and I may really understand. None of this is inevitable. Not a single one of the outcomes is written in stone because there is a path to. Path to. And here's what I love about this section. Every single benefit I'm about to show you is backed by same peer-reviewed, credible science as everything on path one. This isn't motivation, and definitely it isn't Instagram inspiration. This is what happens to your body biologically, measurably, when you make the decision to take your fitness seriously. 6 outcomes. Let's go through them. Benefit one, and this one still amazes me every time I say it. You can literally reverse your biological age. In 2025, researchers confirm what many had suspected for many years. Regular exercise doesn't just slow epigenetic aging, it's just your actual looks outside. It can actually reverse your molecular clock, your inside your body, your DNA, your cells. In other words, your cells will be acting younger than your birth certificate says. And I experienced this myself, if I'm honest. I went from a metabolic age of 79 to 49. That's a 30-year reversal in 18 months. From my living room, no gym, no extreme diet, no expensive personal trainers. And the research says this is available to anyone at any age. It's never too late to start. Not a single study suggests there's an age at which the benefit stops working. Benefit two, consistently active adults in the UK have 30 to 40% lower risk of death from any cause. Any cause. That's not just heart attack or cancer or another disease, everything. And here is the one I want you to really hear. If you start from zero today, in other words, you have no fitness background, completely sedentary, and you start today, you still get a 20 to 25% reduction in mortality. You don't have to have been a lifelong athlete. You don't need to have played sport at all your life. You just need to start today. In other words, you don't need to feel that, well, actually, I wasn't doing all this work now. If I start now, it's too late. You can start today and you still get up to between 20 to 25% benefit in reduction in mortality. It's so forgiving, exercises. Benefit three, just 30 minutes of strength training per week. That's 3 sessions of 30 minutes can add up to 4 years to your life. 4 years from 90 minutes a week. Now, I'm not talking about the quality of life that you get, your health span. I'm talking here about just extension of your life. No hours of gym work, not a personal trainer, not an extreme program, 90 minutes split across 3 short sessions in your living room with body weight or light dumbbell costing maybe 100 to 150 pounds. This is more or less exactly what it takes to take your shower, take your bath on a daily basis. 4 extra years of your life. Think about what 4 years means. And again, this is not the health span, which is even far more beneficial. I'm just talking here about extension of your life. 4 more years watching your grandchildren grow up. 4 more years with your partner. 4 more years of life you've worked decades to reach. Benefit 4. And this one is directly relevant to the number one fear we saw at the start. 38% of men said cancer was their biggest health fear. So here is the direct answer to that fear. The National Cancer Institute confirmed in 2025 the most physically active group has a 26% lower risk of developing cancer compared to the least active. Let me read that again. The most physically active group has a 26% lower risk of developing cancer compared to the least active. That is mind-boggling. Fit middle-aged men reduce their lung cancer risk by 50%. That's more than half. And this is remarkable. Just 4.5 minutes of vigorous activity per day. That could be a fast walk, going upstairs, a short burst on a bike, is linked to a 32% reduction in cancer risk for people who don't otherwise exercise. 4.5 minutes. That's the same time it takes to make a cup of tea. Isn't this amazing? Benefit 5. I want to say this clearly because it's one of the most powerful findings in recent health research. A large-scale meta-analysis published in January 2026. Well, meta-analysis is where they combine all sorts of studies and come up to a summarized study, confirmed by the NPR and multiple universities, found that exercise relieves depression and anxiety as effectively as antidepressant medication. Not slightly, not partially, as effectively. In other words, just being active is as good as taking medicine for antidepression. Between 13 and 36 works out were sufficient to see meaningful improvements in depressive symptoms. I know men who came to EVERPRIME because they were physically declining. And what they gained beyond weight loss and the strength was a sense of purpose again, confidence, identity, the feeling of being a man again at 60, 65, 70 and beyond. I certainly know this because I feel so different today to when I was 62. I feel today like I felt when I was in my 30s. You will only feel this when you actually do the work and you get to that. Nothing tastes like health. Benefit 6, and this puts the whole picture together perfectly. Fit 50-year-olds have an annual chronic disease rate of just 16%. On fit 50-year-olds, 28%. That's 43% lower, almost half. Think about what that means over the next 20 years. In other words, every year you are fit, your probability of developing a new serious condition is almost half of what it would be if it stayed inactive. This is the compound interest of fitness. Every year you invest in your health, the returns grows. Every year you don't, the debt accumulates. And the starting investment, free 30-minute session a week. That's it. Health path to summarize in one chart. Now let me pull it all together. 30 to 40% lower all-cause mortality, 26% lower cancer risk, 55% lower lung cancer risk for fit men, depression relief equal to medication, 43% lower chronic disease rate. And I haven't even mentioned the daily quality of life improvement. For me, this is the biggest one. How you feel on a day-by-day basis. The energy, the strength, the confidence, the libido, and the mental sharpness. These are not incremental improvements, they are life-transforming numbers. Now let me show you what both paths look like when you put them side by side. Left column, path 1, inaction. Right column, path 2, action. Muscle mass, declining 1% per year versus preserved and rebuilt. Heart disease risk, up 19% versus down 19%. Cancer risk, up 26% versus 26% down. Chronic disease, 28% annual rate versus just 16%. Mental health, depression and loneliness versus as effective as medication. Biological age, age faster than your birth certificate versus reversing your epigenetic clock. Life expectancy, cut short versus 4 extra years from 90 minutes a week. Same person, same age, completely different features. The only variable is the decision you make today. I know both paths personally because I was on path one. At 62, I was 84 kilograms. I was type 2 diabetic. My metabolic age was 79. I was 62 old with the body of a 79-year-old. I was on medication. I was exhausted. And if I'm honest, I was scared. Look at the chart. That was me. Fast forward 18 months. I'm 64. I weigh 72 kilograms. 12 kilograms of fat gone. Zero medication. Metabolic age 49. My body is 15 years younger than my actual age. I train from my living room. No gym, no personal trainer, no extreme diet, just a system, a consistent system, which I stumbled into, to be honest, because I tried everything and I perfected it. And it is absolutely wonderful. It works for everybody. I am not special. I didn't discover some secret somewhere. I just stopped treating fitness as optional, or I stopped trying to use the fitness normally designed for young people. And I started treating it as the emergency it is. So for me, fitness is medication. It's not just to look good. Well, I do end up looking good as a byproduct, but that's not the primary goal, which is what typically happens for younger people. They tend to train mostly to look good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're an older person, if you are 50 and over, it is life and death, literally. So what's the actual mechanism? What do you actually do? The EVERPRIME system for men over 50 is built on 4 pillars. Pillar 1 is resistance training, 3 to 4 sessions per week, 20 to 30 minutes each, body weight or light dumbbells. This rebuilds the muscles, support the testosterone naturally, and fires up your metabolism. Pillar 2, zone 2 cardio, 20 minutes 3 times a week. This is the fat burning, heart protecting pillar. A stationary bike, a brisk walk, a light cycle, that's it. Pillar 3, whole foods and protein, 150 grams of protein per day. Real food, no junk, just remove all the vices and hydrate properly. No sugary drinks, just water. Pillar 4, consistency over intensity. This isn't about destroying yourself. This is actually the key one, because this is where most people get it wrong. This is not just about the fact that you're exercising or you're eating right. This is about doing it daily, day after day, week after week, month after month. No gym required, unless if you want to. You can ultimately go to the gym. The equipment you need to start this and gain most of the health I've highlighted here cost initially between 100 to 150 pound max. That's less than the cost of membership of a gym, and definitely less than the cost of paying a very expensive personal trainer. The Harvard study of adult development has been running for nearly 80 years. It is the longest running of human adult life ever conducted. And one of the most powerful findings in this, the health choice and habits you establish at the age of 50 directly predicts the quality of your life at the age of 80. In other words, what you do around your 50s determines how you will look and how you feel if you're still around during your 80s. This is that moment, folks. It is that moment. So here you are at the crossroads. Path 1, do nothing. Let the slow decline continue. Watch your energy fade, your waistline growing, your confidence shrink. Become the man your family worries about, not the man they lean on. Or path 2, make a decision today, not next Monday, not next Saturday, not after the holiday, today. The Harvard study told us that what you do in your 50s is what determines in your 80s. If you are ready to choose part 2, I want to help you. And I really genuinely want to help you, because I've seen the benefit of this. And it's not nearly talked about enough. And I wish I could shout about this at the rooftops. If you need help, I've linked a full detailed video in the description of this particular video. So you go down to this video in the description, there's another video that will walk you through the system. It will talk to you directly. Watch it, it's free. It's detailed, but it will explain to you exactly what to do. And it is absolutely the best decision you will make from your living room. And you will notice the changes in the next 30 to 90 days. So click the link, watch the video. Then if it resonates, take the 3 minutes questionnaire. There's a questionnaire after the video. I will personally review your situation and reach out on WhatsApp. No automated emails, no sales calls, just me. And I genuinely just want to reach out and see what I can do to help you. Also, if you found this presentation useful, please share it with a man over 50 who needs to hear this. A friend, a brother, a father, a husband. Very often, the people who need to hear this are the ones that don't get a chance to hear it. I'll see you on path 2. Your prime never ends. Let's go. Okay. Congratulations. You sat through the presentation. And hopefully, even if you take about 10% of the facts from this will be absolutely information that's not, you don't normally get on the internet. These are well-researched, science-backed metadata information that is not just TikTok reels. It's not just a rah-rah type presentation. It is all what you need to hear. So hopefully you've made some notes and you are going to be using some of the information. Now, you can go down the description. There is a video down there. I would like you to listen to it.